Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the London Session Open. Today is August 6, 2020 and it's 9:43 a.m. in London when we're doing this market update. And we're going to take a look at the euro, of course, the pound dollar. We just had some data coming out. They were all good. Bank of England as well had their meeting this morning. Talk a bit about the dollar, yen, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, but gold and crude oil and stock markets such as the German DAX and the Dow Jones. If you do have any question, just put them in the chat box. And I'm not setting any notification for this because we don't have an exact time when we start, but usually it's around this time on Thursdays. The best thing is actually just subscribe to our YouTube channel and press on that little bell button. That way you get a notification when we go live. And it's 2 times a week, Mondays and Thursdays. So super easy. It's not that frequent. Sometimes as well, we do upload separate videos, but it doesn't happen too often, maybe 1 or 2 times a week as well. So it's not too much for you, I think, if you don't like notifications, that is. But I hope you do, because we had some really good opportunities lately, and we're actually going to begin with gold. So you might remember gold when we spoke about it last time. The price was pretty much trapped within this little wedge, and we said that a break to the upside would trigger a push higher, and it did go higher. So we went all the way up here, and the first target was here somewhere. We can potentially ride this up to about 2060, but obviously the best opportunity was to get involved on the breakout. So what's going to happen with gold now? Can it continue to gain? Yeah, of course it can continue to gain. I mean, the last time I had a really good setup for you guys was when we breached these levels, right? And we went up, and I traded parts of this, but I didn't know it was going to go all the way up, because that sometimes the market just goes crazy like now. Most of the time though, it doesn't. So for example, it's the same thing here. You know, here went up, and we can continue to go up and up and up, but there's a high chance that this comes down, and again, most of the time it does come down. So I would not be buying up here. I will be waiting for a pullback and maybe buy on a dip. I will be booking profits here, and then buying pullbacks. We might, in worst case, go down to the breakup point, and then you can work with this level down here. But in general, sort of, I will look in this space for something, and then attacking the high again. If it doesn't happen, maybe we'll do like last time. We just created a range here for like a week or so, and then the market gained. We have crude oil, and we're going to focus on Brent crude this time around. So Brent crude looks like this, and you need to have a bit of imagination, and you need to also look. So I look a lot at what other markets are doing. So for example, I will be looking at what the Dow Jones is doing. So obviously we had a bull move in Dow Jones, Nasdaq 100 new all-time high, EURUSD going upwards, everything is going upwards. With that information, one can guess what's going to happen next. Now, this is super interesting, and I actually, I mean, pattern-wise, it's not like a great pattern. We had this sort of a wedge, which usually is sort of a bearish thing, but that didn't really work out. I wasn't really trading it though, I was just observing it, and then we sort of stabilized and sort of trade sideways. And if you ignore that for a minute, and you sort of focus on from here to here, then you do have probably this something. This is like an ascending triangle, this section here. But you could also use sticking out this high. I know it's not the perfect triple top, but it is 1, 2, 3 highs at the same level. And again, you look at everything else, and you know you have a bull trend. So here we had that push to the upside, and I was actually looking at this already down here, and I wanted to buy it, but it didn't come back to my pullback level. And then we soared. Now we are dealing with an uptrend here. There's no question about this. And for now, you know, we're trying to push below it here. Yeah, maybe we'll slide straight through here. Maybe we'll collapse. But realistically, we'll find some support where we are now. I'll go a bit lower, but I don't think we're going to trade much lower than 44.13. As always, we're dealing with probabilities, right? So we're not dealing with absolute certainties here. So I always, when I trade with small risk, try to get a good entry, try to get a good risk reward ratio. And that is as well what I teach in the courses that we offer here at ATFX. And if you want to know more about that, just ping me at 𝗹𝗻𝗋𝗋𝗃. That's on Twitter. If not, 𝗎𝗲𝗰𝗋𝗋 at ATFX. Exactly as you can see on my name badge here in the bottom. That's my email. So let's move along here then. So we cover gold, we'll cover crude. Let's cover EURUSD. So this is EURUSD. So what happened here is quite interesting. So the idea was to be bullish from these levels. We did indeed go upwards, and we traded really close to the July 31st high. And then the market pulled down, and then this early morning, people got a bit greedy and thought that EURUSD is like gold, I guess, and tried to push higher. And when we went up and then quickly got rejected. So that is sometimes the typical punishment when you don't have a strong correction and then you try to pull up and then it looks like you have a breakout and then it comes down tumbling. Now it did come down, and I think this has more to lose. It might go up a bit, of course, might go all the way up actually, but realistically it's going to go up a bit, and then it's going to be trading here at maybe 118 over the next couple of days. And my idea here is to actually keep on buying. So we can probably, looking at this today, I think we can lift this a little bit. Don't have to buy 118 directly today. FYI, I actually do update my analysis every day. It's just that I don't do a webinar every day. So every morning I look at the markets and try to understand where would be the good spots. So today, the good spot would be 1778, because if it goes all the way down here, it will be a bit too much too quickly, and I think we can have a bit of a rebound, and then we can probably just head upwards. GBP versus the USD as well. There's a high risk here of failure for this one. So over the last few days, we're looking to be bullish. We went higher, and there are two things here. So the market tried to go upwards, but because EURUSD is really struggling to trade upwards, there's an issue here where you could see this come back down again. The alternative is that the euro dollar and everything just stabilizes over the next few hours, and we take out this level and we go upwards. As well, you might be looking and probably saw that you had market PMIs coming out. I think it was construction PMI better than expected. Bank of England as well, caused a bit of a bullish mood here. But the reason why people aren't buying is because, the last low was here on August 4th at 29.90. That's the last important low. These small levels here don't really matter right now. It will matter though if we take out that high. So if you're very bullish, you could potentially work with that breakout. That's very straightforward and easy. The alternative, which is my preference, is you just let the whole thing tumble to 30.50, and from 30.50 and 29.71, which is level down here, is interesting. All right, here's dollar versus the Japanese yen, and dollar versus the Japanese yen is coming up a bit now. Over the last few days, I do think we're going to go lower. We talked about selling breaks here and things like that. Now, I'm not super interested in this market, really. But it is a downtrend below 106.93. And a few days ago, we said, look to sell here, and so far, all right. AUD USD looks like the euro almost, right? Except it doesn't have that solid, strong trend, but it does have a trend. So we went up to the prior high, got rejected, and now it's coming down. And I think it can go down to 71.29. Now, a lot of people mistake this as a blessing to go short. Yes, we will probably go down, but I would never trade against the trend. I am a pure trend follower. I'm not just waiting for this to come down. And you might say, well, I love the Aussie dollar. Like, I'm not gonna trade for the next 3 days? Yeah, that's what I would do. I wouldn't trade this until we go down, much like the EURUSD. But that is why as well, I look at 20, 30 markets every day, and I just pick the one that's the best. Simple as that. All right, let's move along here. If you want me to cover more currencies, just put them in the chat box. What we'll do now, we're gonna turn our attention to the German DAX. All right, so this is the German DAX. So I've been bearish below this level, and technically we're still bearish below this level, and we could probably go down. I mean, we did go down, and we can probably go down again, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. I do think that this was it, and we will resume the big uptrend, and it will continue to go upwards, but we don't have a solid idea here. Let's wait for this trend to turn bullish again. What does that mean? Well, let me give you a good example of that. Do you remember this? This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And as you know, I've been bullish for quite some time. Here we had a head and shoulders pattern that triggered already on July 13th and then followed through on the 14th. We never really went all the way up to the target. And then, I was bullish. We got stopped out here, the trend. And since then, the market drifted lower. And I said, exactly as with the German DAX, I said, let's wait. Let's see what's going to happen next. And then when we take out this little downtrend, which we did, when we took out this level point here, we turned bullish. And that's what we did. And the market turned bullish from these levels and then went upwards. So it's the same thing I'm looking here for the German DAX. I think that will happen. But for now, this level is blocking price. And we could easily go down to 12,290 or so. Why do I think we can easily go down there? Well, because this thing has pretty much reached the prior highs, the Dow Jones. And, I don't know if you've traded, but this is the Russell 2000. I had a few bullish ideas here as well. And they're all sort of quite strong. The only thing that is not really strong right now is the Nasdaq 100. But many of the other markets like the S&P and everything has already gained quite a bit, which means that we can have a little bit of pressure over the next day or two. What else? So how can we trade then the Dow Jones? Where should we be buying it? Well, I'm going to be bullish above 26,283. And I think we come down to something like 26,800. I think maybe from here it's interesting. Here's the Nasdaq 100. So it's really struggling right now because what's happening is that people buy the Russell 2000, S&P, and Dow Jones. So they've been buying these markets instead of buying on these winners. So there's a bit of a catch up here. But you do have 1, 2, 3 highs, and we reached that level, and the break to the double top will give us a target of 11,779, right? That is what the patterns are telling us. But you can see it's a struggle to trade much higher here. And there are a few things one could do, but realistically, as long as you trade above 10,984, this is going to be a bullish uptrend. To give you an idea, I am myself I'm long from the very high because I bought on the breakout, and I bought really close here because I had my stop loss here. It was so close to my stop loss. So adding a bit of risk here would not have changed the outlook. Also, I didn't have a big position to begin with, which afforded me to put a bit more risk on. Now my average entry is pretty much here at 11.37. I am getting bored though, and most of the breakouts, when they happen, they go quickly and one makes money quickly. Yet here, we're not really seeing that. And what is happening tomorrow that I don't want to be part of? Tomorrow is non-farm payrolls day. Non-farm payrolls day is when we get the U.S. jobless unemployment rate and how many jobs were created. Now, what's the problem with the NFP? The problem with the NFP, because it will spike the price upwards or potentially spike it lower. So I have a bit of profit now, and do I really want to give that away? I might double my money, but I might lose it. In the past, I would keep positions open, but now I reached that age, I think, where I just want to make sure I just have making some money and not necessarily looking for this biggest returns as I used to do when I was younger. So that's why I'm going to try to get out of it. And what else? You need to be a bit careful with that. So I will be actually keeping positions light because of the non-farm payrolls. All right, let's take a look at something interesting, which is Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, as you know, we talked about buying down here. We said buying on breakouts here as well. That's what we've been communicating over the last couple of months because the market really didn't do too much from May here. Now, we are still on the right track here. We still breached that triangle. And if you have some patience, we might be able to reach 13,948. But the actual pattern of this triangle is up here. And if you really want to stretch it, you should take the base, which means that we get like a silly return almost. Like you get this sort of a move. So you get an idea, right? So are we going to go all the way up there in one go? Probably not. And over the last few days, we had a few opportunities to get involved. The general idea in Bitcoin has been to buy dips like that and like to go long. For now, though, I think it's a bit too late. there's no real solid pattern. I wouldn't attach money to anything here right now, but there are some other coins you might be able to find more interesting. Okay, good. Let's see if you guys have any questions. If you are watching this live, if you're not watching this live, still don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. All of that is very important because it sends signals to YouTube that this is valuable content, and that tells us as well that we should continue to do this. That this is valuable. So we have Anjay, good morning. I haven't seen you for a bit. Hope you're doing good. And we have Stefan, good morning to you. Can we take a look at the dollar CAD? I'm holding a small short from 141, but I'm beginning to doubt that it's going to go lower. Okay, so this is the Canadian dollar, and the Canadian dollar is bearish. And a few weeks ago, actually, had this beautiful pattern here, which worked out fine. Break to the downside, and we're still dealing with a downtrend. And I think we can come down lower, but I don't necessarily think it's going to. I wouldn't be selling here. You know, if I would sell up here at 33.66. And then we'll see what happens. Of course, from a big picture perspective, you know, if you're short from 41, I mean, that's a good move. Question is, the thing is here with the dollar in general, like, we cannot deny that the dollar has weakened exceptionally over the last couple of weeks, right? This is not your typical move, like for example here in the EURUSD, and not even in the Canadian dollar. I mean, it weakened exceptionally from here with 1,700 pips, and now has clawed back most of those losses. Because crude oil prices, I think overall would trade slightly higher over the next couple of weeks. I still think we can go down. If you look at things like the Australian dollar, they did, it was able to actually claw back all of its losses, and EURUSD is trading at the new 2020 high. So maybe we'll come back down lower. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think if you're looking for, you know, things coming back to their mean or something like that, just coming back to your typical price, then that opportunity has been exhausted. I think maybe from here, you know, we had some opportunities come back, but here again, that opportunity is getting exhausted, I think. Okay, good. We don't have any more questions, so we're gonna wrap things up. If you do have questions for me during the day, as always, just ping me via alejandro.zambrano@ATFX. As well, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for more content like this. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.